well, with no further ado, I am so excited to jump into today. We have a very special guest, and first I'd like to introduce her before I introduce our topic. So it is my pleasure to introduce Hilary Lemay. She is a wonderful member of our Brilliant Solutions group team. She is a doTERRA Platinum, but before any of that, she's a wife and a mother, which are some of our most favorite lifetime positions, right? And Hilary's done such an amazing job in growing her doTERRA influence. She has customers across the globe in 15 countries, as well as throughout the US. She's been empowering others using her social media to establish her own wellness community, to connect with people again across the globe, and been doing so since 2014. And then we'll have a slide for you and show you where you can connect with Hilary on Instagram. So you can see some of her amazing tips and knowledge she diffuses and infuses into her audience. So with no further ado, good morning and welcome, Hilary. So excited to be here with you today.
Hi, it is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, so Hilary and I are going to do something really fun. We are not going to be PowerPointing our way through our conversation today. We are actually going to do this interview style. And you'll have to excuse my dark background. I'm in a hotel room and trying to function in here. You know, last second we ended up staying an extra minute. So I had to shut the blinds so it wasn't blinding sunshine. So I feel like I'm at the nighttime over here, which it's not true. All right, well, let's begin. Hilary, first of all, welcome. You know, I think it'd be fun for our audience. You know, what we all have in common is we're doTERRites, right, of some degree or another. And I think it'd be fun for people to learn how you found doTERRA and how it became part of who you are and what you do.
Sure. It was very accidental. I live in Northern Virginia with my husband, George, and our daughter, Olivia, who's 10. And back in 2011, when I went into labor with Olivia, I actually suffered a uterine inversion. And if you're not familiar with that, it's a very scary, life-threatening, rare complication that happens when the uterus collapses and turns inside out. So that happened. Everything was fine with her, though. You know, this was right after I delivered her that this happened. And so, you know, we went on. Olivia is now 10. Many of you follow her and have been following us since she was little. And it's because of doTERRA that I am here sharing with you. So when Olivia was around a year and a half, we decided we wanted to expand our family. And so between the years of 2012 and 2014, we suffered 3 painful miscarriages. And we didn't realize it until after the fact that it was because of the complications that happened from the uterine inversion when we delivered Olivia. So my sister-in-law had been using oils very casually. She really did not bring them around often. I didn't often hear about them. And I wasn't really comfortable incorporating them while we were kind of going through this transitional time. But I thought to myself, you know, when we are in the next stage of life or the next phase, I do want to learn about them. But I didn't feel like that was really the time. And so when it came to the realization that, you know, George and I decided we're not going to continue doing this because it was very terrifying and I almost died, that we said, you know, we're just going to move on and give Olivia the best life that we possibly can. And this is not what was meant for us. So after the 3rd miscarriage, I asked my sister-in-law to bring her oils over to our house. I don't know why, I just felt like that was somewhere in the back burner that I needed. It was just like, you know, the oils would find me when I needed them, and they sure did. So I asked her to come over and bring them. She brought them over and just asked me what I was feeling. And I said, you know, I just feel really sad. This is not the life that I expected we were going to have, you know, and I feel really sad. I'm bleeding a lot. I'm feeling a lot of cramping. I don't feel well. And I don't feel like I can show up as a mom the way that I want to with our daughter. So she brought the oils over and she gave me a drop of Balance, and she put that in the palm of my hand and told me just to warm it up and take a couple deep breaths and inhale deeply. And then she gave me 3 or 4 drops of deep blue oil. And she told me to rub that on my abdominal area. And within minutes, I felt like this dark cloud just wash away. And I started to feel like myself again, which I hadn't felt in several years. And the pain had stopped in my abdomen, my bleeding had stopped. And it was like a light bulb went off that this is something that I need to follow that light, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about doTERRA. I don't know I didn't even know it was a network marketing company or what that even meant actually at that time. I just knew that that was something I needed more of, and it made me feel so good, and it wasn't hurting anybody, so I wanted more of it. And when she left that night after Olivia went to bed, I started Googling, and give mom a Google tab and she's unstoppable.
Yeah.
And so I started Googling about the oils, the balance oil and the deep blue oil. And I was like, okay, how did that just happen? Because I wanted to understand why I feel so much better and why I feel I felt changed. And so I started Googling through the cracks of Olivia's nap time, when she would go to bed. I was just learning. And so I reached back out to my sister-in-law and I said, can you put together a little sample kit for me? I literally didn't know anything about what was offered. And I just said, I want to spend about $150. Can you put something together for me? And she goes, well, we have a family physician kit. Back then, for all of you that have been around for a while, you know that kit was awesome. So that was the top 10 kit with a little 5 ml bottles. And you can imagine how quickly I blew through those within like a week or two.
Yeah.
And I had placed 3 orders before the month was over. I didn't care about LRP points, didn't even know what that was, didn't care that I was missing out on them. I just needed more oils. I started using oils for my head tension, for seasonal threats, and I wasn't reaching for Advil anymore. And I wasn't reaching for the, other things on the market that I was using every single day. And I started to kind of realize, okay, this is actually really working. Like, what else can they do if they can help with my head tension, if they can help with my seasonal threats? I want to learn more. And I just became a sponge, and I started sharing that on Instagram and on Facebook just for fun. I was sharing the recipes, I was sharing the blends that I was using and the experiences that I was having. And people started asking questions and they wanted to learn. And that was 2014, and here we are, and it's 2022, and I've never stopped. So it was very accidental.
Well, and it was very natural and very organic, right?
Yeah.
That you simply discovered, fell in love. And I always tell people when I'm early on, ushering them into their membership and they're launching, onboarding them as a customer, I always say, I'm just going to disclose to you early, you are not going to be able to keep this to yourself, right? So think ahead about how you can bless some other lives. So thank you for choosing that and choosing it in a big way.
It became, it was a creative outlet for me to get my mind off of the pain that I was feeling. I felt like, okay, well, when I don't feel well, what can I do? I can help someone else, can help other people. And that sort of became this ongoing journey of this quest that, okay, who could I help today? What else, can I inspire someone else today with the recipe that maybe they're experiencing head tension and they could really use this right now? And then I sort of I felt like I could be a mama bear to so many people, like really thousands of people, maybe more than that, who, I just started to feel that I could have that nurturing energy that I wanted to give to my own children, that now I can amplify that so much bigger.
It's beautiful. Good for you. Way to redirect the energy that you have and aim it for a great cause. And, karma is a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. It brings back what we give out. And I have no doubt that your life will continue to be blessed in ways that you have not yet imagined. So thank you for choosing the high road, right? Through your suffering, your struggles, and through a redefinition of your life plan that you hadn't foreseen. That's really, really a powerful story. So thank you. I just want to add in brief, just as we bridge into the next portion of our conversation, I was a health practitioner for a very long time. I was a wellness coach, ran a wellness center years before I switched gears and I became more of a wellness advocate and educator. But from time to time, I have occasions to support people individually, like I used to. And man, the level of people that seem to be in need as of late has just been extraordinary. Have you found that? Just yes. More people needing your particular coaching. And I mean, I've seen some extraordinary situations, really actually kind of similar to your crazy. I mean, the minute you hear uterine inversion, the story is not going to go well, right? Like that's an incredible experience. And just this week, I had an opportunity to serve people in some really like crazy circumstances, and just so grateful for the oils. And I'm just so grateful that your story reminds us, what maybe has become ordinary to those of us who've been doing this for a long time is radically extraordinary to those who do not have these kind of tools at their fingertips. So I really appreciate the dynamics of your story and how much they model that. So one of the things I love about conversing with you in preparation for today is that you've poured yourself out there, like you said, you've shared, and I'm sure after a while you start to realize, oh, I can make a difference. And so you start to get more, shall we say, directive about what you're doing in your messaging. And I love your through line, and it's what we named our call today, that you're really about teaching people that they can make, put pennies in their health bank every day. And over time, you can develop what we so often call compound interest. So tell us about that angle and what's important to you about that and what you're seeing is happening in the lives of people who are listening.
It allows people to hold on and anchor in to something that could otherwise feel so overwhelming, because there's so many products and there's so many oils and there's so many supplements, and people over the course of the years that I've been sharing doTERRA, the common thread is overwhelm. And an overwhelmed mind says no. And no, not no, I don't want the products, but more of no, I can't see the end game. I don't know how to get from overwhelm to a place where I feel structure and I know how to come to my day. And it's a redefinition of your action steps every day. What are the things that you do every day? And one of those things I try to use as another analogy is like brushing your teeth. You don't think and rationalize out of brushing your teeth every day. You just do it because you've been doing it since you were a child, and it's just, that why you need to do it, and so you just do it, and it compounds. It every day when you brush your teeth, your oral hygiene is going well. And if you went a month without brushing your teeth, your oral hygiene would not go well, and you would start to feel a toothache or pain or something. You would feel that, and that's your body's way of saying, hey, something's not going well here. And so if we can take it back to the very beginning, the smallest level of, okay, when we're kids, what are those things that we do? We brush our teeth in the morning. It's one of the first things you do, right? And so by using the analogy of putting a penny in your health bank, it helps people really conceptualize the idea of how impactful just one small thing is. And that if you just can do one small thing, you've made a difference. And if you can do that one thing again, and then the next day, and then the next day, what happens 30 days from now? You have 30 cents. And what happens 6 months from now? What happens a year from now? What happens 5 years from now? Well, when our kids are babies and we teach them how to brush their teeth, they grow up and they're 5 years old and they have this pattern, and they do that when they go away to college and we're no longer there. We don't need to remind them to brush their teeth when they're in college, because it's already so deeply rooted. That's what I try to help people understand. Can we just put one drop of oil in your water today? And can we do that tomorrow also? And then let's try that. How do we feel about doing that for 1 week? And then send me a message, screenshot, a little selfie of you drinking your water, something like that. But that's a way to just anchor in. And it's so small, it's one drop at a time. It's one penny at a time. And over time, you start to get into that habit. You don't think about it. You just put oil in your water every time you refill it.
I love that. It's funny that you brought up the tooth analogy, because as of late, teeth health has come up. I will call us a middle-aged group of friends in our empty nester years, my husband included in that. And we've had some tooth issues that have showed up for people, failed root canals, for example, that happened years and years, even decades ago, that are still coming back. And let's use the tooth health as this way to see this compound interest. When you're in the negative, it's amplified. When you're in the positive, it's amplified. What most people don't understand is how related your teeth health is to the rest of your body. So for example, if you have an underlying infection down in your gums or even into your jaw, but you have no idea because it's not painful and it's festering for years on end, and you have body aches like crazy and you have no idea why. You're a healthy eater, you do all the right thing, but you're in so much pain, you don't realize that you have massive compound interest from that jaw and from that tooth situation. So that being said, on the positive, when we're doing an oil drop a day, it isn't just an oil drop a day. It means let's say you're teaching people a citrus oil. You're tickling your liver every day to like, hey, let's improve those pathways of detoxification. Here's some limonene for you to really improve your production of glutathione. And so there's such simplicity in your invitation and yet such amplification in just the difference. I mean, that's what your story was so beautiful in teaching, just inhaling balance oil and then applying an oil to your abdomen. You could already see, again, it wasn't just an oil in your water. It was something that had a huge ripple effect. And so there's such power in that simplicity and the ripple effect that it can produce. So let's jump in and talk through some of your favorite daily deposit ideas. I know you have some that you found really resonate with your followers. And just, you've got some really good practical daily habits, the oil and the water being one of them. Share some of your other favorites that you found have really helped to move the needle of people's lives.
I love helping people own the night by really anchoring into those things. It allows you to own the day if you can own the night before. So you're preparing yourself because you know that you want to make good choices the next day, but maybe the schedule is overwhelming and you have 20 million things you need to do before the bus pickup, right, with your family. So if you can just own the day by owning the night before, that makes a big difference. So filling up your diffuser the night before. This is such a simple practice, but if you drink coffee and you set your coffee maker the night before, it's the same concept. Why do you do that? Because you want to save time in the morning. So our coffee maker and our diffuser do very similar things. They make us feel good, they wake us up, and we rely on them every day. So if you can apply that same concept, that's something that's familiar. So if you can use, like, I love using analogies because that's the way I learn. I want to be able to visualize, okay, why am I doing this? What's the reason? Why do I want to spend a few moments at night filling up my diffuser for tomorrow? Because I want to feel great in the morning and I want to save time. But I still want to continue putting a penny in my health bank because I don't want to burn a candle. I want to breathe in the aroma of the oils instead. So by just pouring water and putting a few drops of oil into my diffuser the night before, in my office, in my workout room, in the kitchen, before I go up to bed, it took no less than it's really not going to take you long, seconds. And I also like to make diffuser blends. So I'll put, 5 or 6 of my favorite oils or whatever it is. And I have those oils staged in the places that I use them. Because why, if I'm going to use these oils every day in my workout room, the same 2 oils and the same 5 or 6 oils in my nighttime diffuser, why am I going to leave them in the kitchen? I have to go all the way across the house, up the stairs. I'm just going to, oh no, I'm not going to do it because I'm too busy. I'm not going to do it. So because these are the anchoring habits that I use, and then I mirror those and I share, what works for me in the way that I share on social media, that I'm sharing these things that work for me. I hope you'll try this. And when people try it and they're like, wow, I've saved so much time. And now I diffuse every night because I have this blend of oils already there by my nightstand where I'm going to use it. So in situationally appropriate places. And if you already have those there, then when you're owning the day by owning the night before, you don't even have to go searching for them. They're there for you. It's like you're going to know yourself better than you even thought you did because, oh, wow, thanks, me. I left my blend right there. And that's, you know me well. That's the blend I like. It's already there for you to greet you. So that is one that is so helpful. And even if that means the vitamins, put the vitamins out on the kitchen counter for your kids, for yourself, whatever that looks like. Lay out the rollers that you use, put them by the door before the shoes and socks and the backpacks and all that. The On Guard hand spray, the On Guard drops. These are things, if you've been to my house, I have the drops in a bowl by the door. We have an oil station by the door. I have my roller blends by my office and the diffuser blends. So those are little things that you can do just the night before. Takes less than 5 minutes and makes a very exponential number of deposits in your health bank for sure.
I love that. That's so practical. So I want to make sure we capture as your audience words like anchoring. So, we use daily habits often, but to just have the word anchoring habits just gives so much more meaning and relevance to that, because if we're moving through our day unanchored, right, then we're going to find ourselves less stable, more easily tossed to and fro. So I love your choice of words anchoring. And I also love your word staging. I know you've been a part of book clubs and reads that we've done together with James Clear's Atomic Habits and Mr. Habit Stacking, right? He's such a proponent of habit stacking, which is exactly what you're teaching us here. And Michael Hyatt, your best year ever guy, all about rituals. And so, people who, and these experts are teaching us, we're not just here to teach you how to set goals. We're not just here how to, how to whatever, regulate your life, but we're here to teach you how to achieve. And these pennies in the bank, it's a nice concept, but if you don't stage right? And you don't habit stack and you don't create these rituals, the chances of you getting a penny in the bank every day and experiencing compound interest, because yeah, we can give your liver glutathione nudge once a week, or we could do it every day. And again, the amplification of the staging and the anchoring of every day is so powerful. So I love the practicality of your sharing. Okay, so next, I think it'd be really fun, because you weren't using doTERRA when in the beginning, and you've seen a transition in your household, as have each of us who've brought oils to our world, and you've got a child and a husband. So it's gone beyond you. Clearly, I'm imagining the oil usage has gone beyond you. The supplementation usage has gone beyond you. Talk to us about the impact of influencing not just yourself, but also your household members, and some of the benefits of having chosen to go beyond yourself.
Definitely. I wish that I had just the self-awareness and the empowerment that the oils bring when I was a kid. And it's been really fun to share that with Olivia and to share it with my husband, George, because I'm sort of, they're taking my lead. So if they say, oh, I have some head tension, what should I use? And then I start teaching them what to reach for, then they know. And then because those items are staged where we use them the most, it's easily accessible for them to reach for exactly what they need. And that makes a huge impact. And then over time, when our family members come to the house for, Thanksgiving or just for dinner or whatever, and they see the oils, and it's sort of through osmosis, so if someone is over your house and they don't feel well and their stomach hurts, they ate too much. Oh, let me give you some Terrazyme and you'll feel better. And then when they realize, whoa, I feel better, what did you give me? You can kind of invite that conversation in. And because that trust is earned, there's that level of security and safety where they are open to me giving them a magical pill that they don't know what it is, but because they trust me and they know that these tools have been very helpful for our family, that trust is there, and that trust is established over time. And so much so that actually my father-in-law, he had been struggling with diabetes. By the way, am I allowed to say, can we say, do we need to stay compliant? Or
because we post, because we're on Facebook and those places, we try to strive inside the lines, right? So
we will strive inside the lines.
Yes.
So my father-in-law had been on medications for blood pressure and blood sugar challenges. And so he had also had a lot of kidney damage from decades of these medications. And I had been using, this was not up until this past year, up until last year in March. So March of 21, he sent my husband George a text message and said, hey, can you ask Hilary if she has any oils that can support my kidneys? Because I want to, they're bad, and they're not doing well. And they're saying that I might need to go on dialysis, and I really don't want to do that. And so he asked me, do you have some things you could put together for my dad? I said, I've been waiting for 2 decades. We've been together for 21 years. I've been waiting since the beginning of time to share oils with your dad, but he has to be ready. He has to want them. I do not push oils on anybody. You have to want that. You have to be open to that healing. And this has to be a voluntary kind of experience. And so he actually sent me a message the day before we were supposed to get together, and he said, don't forget the oils for me. Can you bring them? And I'm like, will I forget? No, I have been packed and my bag is by the door. I am so excited to share oils with you. So, but I put together some things for him and he started using them. And within a very short time frame, his doctor was extremely surprised because after he had some blood work done, his kidneys were starting to repair themselves. And he had gone off all the medication that he was on. He got approval from his doctors, his medical team, to try a natural approach, because he said, I want to try a natural approach. This is not working for me anymore. And so within just a few months, his blood pressure came down from a very dangerous level to a very safe level, and he's 72. He's 72 now. And he has no sign of diabetes anymore, no sign of any challenges with his blood sugar. His blood sugar is completely managed using oils and supplements that I created a protocol for. And I've documented this. Anyone that's sharing this or watching the replay that has been following me has been watching that. I've chronicled this. I have videos and posts, and it's been so exciting because the people that can see this and bear witness to this, that have experienced it also, it's an invitation for them to try these things. Give this a try, as long as you're open with your medical team of what you're doing, and are you open to these natural remedies? And the results have been incredible and exponential to see that because of my father-in-law's success. And I was sharing that on social media every step of the way, giving these updates with the data to prove it. It wasn't just, oh yeah, he's doing well. I have actual blood work numbers. I have actual blood sugar numbers. I have actual kidney numbers, percentages of the increase, and his kidneys are actually healing themselves and repairing. And he said, I never thought I would feel my best at 72 years old, and I have you to thank. And so it's like, it just makes me feel that mama bear vibe that I get to nurture other people in my life. And of course, yes, we want all the people in our family to be open, but we can't take the supplements for them. We can't put the cinnamon in their water for them. They have to say, I want that and I'm ready. And that was so awesome. And now every time we see each other, he's like, hey doc, how's it going? He's like, thanks for being so great to me and everything. And it's just, I love it. It's so awesome to share that with him. And now my mother-in-law's using the skincare and everyone in the family. And it's just, it's really exponential.
Wow, that's a tremendous story. So let's unpack it a little bit. So number one, he wanted it. He leaned in, right? So often I love that where we are in this part of our discussion is it's like, how have you spread this beyond yourself? And so often it's by example, right? Not only we're using it in our lives, we're using it in our families' lives, and people start to see a level of proficiency. So their trust grows. They see a level of results. They hear us tell our stories. And it took him time. But at some point, he probably came to that crossroads where he was like, wow, I've got some pretty ugly choices ahead of me. Maybe I want to do something different. And sometimes people wait that long, but good for him for choosing to ask, right? So I love that you were patient with him. I always say, the time to invite people is when they're drooling and leaning in, right? That's when they're ready. So I love that. The other thing that I think let's be clear about the body. And I love how you finish the story. I really like to speak about terrain theory. Your body is a terrain. You're like a terrarium, right? And it's up to you to manage that terrain. And if you're putting lots of junk food in there and sugar and all kinds of stuff, you might have a couple of organs that kind of like a part of your engine aren't going to work so great. And then when you start putting new things into that terrain, those organs can choose to function differently. So, there are other parties that want to control the conversation because they want to capitalize on controlling the conversation. Let's be clear that our conversation was simply, you introduced some ideas to him where he put new fertilizer, shall we say, into his terrarium, and his plants chose on their own to change their behavior, right? So just by getting new information, new ideas, new molecules, new nutrition, then the body was able to make a choice for itself. And you're right, his kidneys then chose on their own. The body heals itself. Nobody can capitalize or claim the healing. And so thank you for positioning the story that way. It's super powerful. Now, you have to know Hilary. Now, I told you we're going to give you her Instagram handle so you can find her in that way, and you can go back and track these stories. But of course, the comments came flying in like, what did you do? Do you want to give a few teasers as to what you dropped into father-in-law's terrarium or taught him to do for himself that have maybe made a really powerful difference? Maybe something that's been great for helping to maintain healthy blood sugar and helping to support kidney health.
Yeah, definitely. And I have it all chronicled, and I have a super fancy scientific hashtag system. So if anyone needs a protocol, I have the videos, the details of all of it on Instagram. So just reach out to me and I'll send you directly to the little virtual library. It's better than Netflix because it's free and you can enjoy it whenever you want and apply this to your family. So just a few of the things. So one is cinnamon in his water every day. And he is alternating between cinnamon and lemon. So we'll do a drop of cinnamon, and then the cinnamon lingers in the bottle, so you really don't need to overdo it. Just a drop in the morning, and then he'll do lemon when he refills his water in the afternoon, and then he'll do either cinnamon or both of them later in the day. And that has been really tremendous for balancing his blood sugar naturally, and to the point where his doctor said, I see no sign anymore of an issue. And it's documented, the data is there. That was incredible.
One drop of cinnamon in his water, and you've never done more, you've never put in a capsule. He doesn't complain about his lips burning.
No.
Tremendous. Okay.
Yeah, and so we did that. We also did, gosh, I'm trying to think of all the things. Well, we did DDR Prime soft gels at nighttime. Nice. And that was really for just the cellular repair and support, at the deep internal cellular level with the frankincense and the clove, and those oils are just so tremendous with antioxidants that really we want to repair damage of decades of over-the-counter and prescription medications for pain and for inflammation and things like that. We also did turmeric soft gels at night as well, and the turmeric soft gels are incredible for the inflammation and discomfort he was feeling in his knee and in his lower back. He had to, and I have videos of this too in the Instagram hashtag in the little Netflix library for you, but he could not walk down the stairs straight. He had to bend sideways. He had to go down the stairs sideways to counteract to just sort of, overcompensate for the pain that he was experiencing in his knee and his lower back. And I have a video of him 3 months later walking down the stairs with a smile on his face. And he's like, I never could have done this before. And wow. His feet were swollen. And after that initial first, couple weeks of doing this, he said, I don't ever want to be without this. Remind me, like, I want to make sure my LRP goes through before my items, are empty. So let's stay kind of chatting about it. And I said, no problem. And he took my husband on a trip, their little father-son trip to Vegas to this car show. And if you've been to Vegas, there's a lot of walking. And if you have pain, if you have discomfort in your back or knee, or you have swollen feet, going to a Vegas convention center is not for you. It's not in the cards that you're not going to have a good time. No. And so I have a photo of them at this conference, and they were walking around for 3 days without a scooter, on their feet on the concrete. I would be complaining probably, and the fact that they did that. And he said, I had the best time of my life, and I never could have done this before now. I would have never thought, gee, why don't I surprise George with a trip to Vegas and we're going to walk around for 3 days straight? It never would have been possible.
Right.
So that was a huge shift. So the DDR Prime soft gels, the turmeric soft gels, the lemon in the water. We also did Zendocrine complex, for also the cleansing of the liver bit, the kidneys. And I really wanted to just start with a few things because overwhelm will say no.
Yeah.
And so he didn't really want to smell like oil. So I didn't want to do anything topical just yet until we could really get the habit architecture established, get the foundation stable. And so we just started with a few little things. And I checked in with him, and he would text me, and I have all these cute little text messages from him, just so happy and proud of himself and telling me all of his progress. And it just makes me so proud because it's really brought us closer together also.
That's so beautiful. What a great story. Well, Hilary, you have just been fabulous and wonderful from beginning to end of our conversation. Thank you so much for the inspiration. I'm going to bring the PowerPoint back up here so people, Megan was kind enough to already get your Instagram contact information in the chat, but let me just put it up here so people can see it visually. It's your name, Hilary Lemay, Lamay. Easy to find. You're so generous to not only share today with us, but also to help us figure out where to find you. I'm going to jump in here real quick and just share where we are in January, and then we'll have some parting words. So we always like you to be in the know because, we got some really powerful things to wield. We might as well be smart shoppers as well. So as always, doTERRA always has a 10% off oil. Arbor Vitae is that oil. If you knew what I know about Arbor Vitae, you would never be without it. It is an incredible oil. It comes from a tree that lives 1,000 or more years, and the Native Americans in Canada use it for everything. It is like they call it the tree of life. And the chemistry of Arbor Vitae, just so you don't get confused, it is not like Douglas fir. It is not like cedarwood in this diffuser blend. It's a very different fir conifer type tree oil. It has very unique chemistry, and you deserve to have some in your life because it's amazing. We have had 5 wellness journeys. We now have a 6th and final member of our wellness program family, and they've added what I think will probably trend as one of our most popular of these wellness programs. The relief program is currently the most popular, but I think the digestive program is going to give it a run because digestive issues are such a big deal. So a beautiful selection. It's a 90-day program, set it and forget it. Once you choose in, you get a sequence of kits each month for a series of 3 months, and then you can choose to discontinue or keep going if those are products you're using up rapidly. Wonderful. So dive in and learn more about that. A very, very important thing to share for everyone within the sound of our voices, whether you are a doTERRA wellness advocate, if you're a customer, and for those who are either of those or neither, if you are anywhere near any of these cities, it is worth a 6 to 8 hour drive to get yourself there. The one that's coming up the soonest is tomorrow in Orlando, Atlanta in February 1, Salt Lake City, we're at February 15th, and so on. We've made a tiny link for you, tiny.cc/evolve tour, where you can go and gather all the information, the registration. It's a 2-part event. The first 2 hours in the afternoon are where you can go and learn the aroma touch technique and how to infuse that into a wellness advocate business model. And then the last 2 hours of the day in the evening are 2 hours of raw time with Dr. David Hill, one of the founding executives of doTERRA, our original CMO, Chief Medical Officer. And I know Dr. Hill personally, and I know how he prepared for this event is he took a radical amount of information he wanted to infuse into his audience, and he distilled it down until he had the message that he felt was right. And I've heard comments from people who went to Dallas who said they had never in their entire doTERRA lifespan. For those of us that were there early, we got a lot of Dr. Hill, and we were sitting close and we were sitting at his feet. But as the company grew and the opportunities for influence expanded, not as many people have had a chance to hear him in this kind of setting. And it is a not to be missed moment. Along with that, they have provided some darling kits. They're called Evolve Tour kits, right? Evolve You Tour, and they are not limited to tour attendance. They are available to any of us, and they are wonderful. And they're targeting relief, immunity, mood, and mind, similar to some of our other programs or programs that we have. And so any of those are available individually. If someone is not yet a member of doTERRA, this is an excellent way to get started with a targeted program. Like, for example, here's those turmeric capsules that Hilary mentioned. And what's beautiful about that is the normal $35 enrollment fee is waived if any of these kits are those starter kits. And lastly, hey, there's just some people like myself, when I got started, I'm like, I want it all. And so they took those different packages you see on the right and combined them into a single, what they call the complete collection, with the one package of the lifelong vitality and all the other products we've mentioned. So you have immunity, mood and mind, and structural muscular relief, all encompassed once again with a $35 fee waived. So there you have it. Those are our January announcements. Again, get yourself to a Dr. Hill event, get more of the kind of conversation we've had here with Hilary. Again, thank you for being you. Thank you for sharing you. And thank you for choosing to disseminate the amazing discoveries that you made in your own life and blessing the lives of literally tens of thousands of people who you're affecting through Instagram and through your customer base across the world. You inspire us. Thank you, Hilary.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a joy. Take care, everyone.